Hello everyone, this is the Final Bosman. I am Kyle Bosman, and I want to do a relatively low-key episode this week, obviously in light of recent news of the death of President and CEO of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, someone whom I have a great deal of respect for, intense respect for. And yeah, this show is normally silly and irreverent. I did not have the kind of strength to do that today, to pull that off. So for today's episode, I would like to hopefully quickly and succinctly just talk about Satoru Iwata and what his accomplishments mean to me personally. And when I say personally, yes, because it's Wednesday. You've seen it a lot already at this point. You can read obituaries that are much more eloquently written than I can speak. But I just want to talk about some things that stand out to me. Mostly that this is a man who never got bitter. When you think of his programming accomplishments that have arisen, that you hear about now since his death, just this idea that he made it possible to fit 2 Pokemon maps into 1 Game Boy cartridge, and that he debugged Super Smash Bros. Melee by himself for the final 2 weeks of that game's production, and while he was a general manager at Nintendo. When you think of those things, those are incredible feats. When you think of the person who does that, you think, how does that person come out of those years as some intense programmer doing overtime? How does that person come out not bitter, not an angry person? And Iwata did that. And then that great programmer, that masterful programmer, became the president of Nintendo somehow, off the faith of Yamauchi. Just incredible, obviously the right person for the job. Took Nintendo to its highest of heights with the Wii and the DS. And also to lows, to bad years we saw Iwata come through. And this is where it's been interesting to watch Iwata. Do you remember when the 3DS originally launched? 6 months later, it had a $70 price cut. And Nintendo gave everyone who bought one previously 10 free games, more than you could ever ask for. But Iwata still personally apologized to everyone who bought one before. He personally apologized for a $70 price cut. That says a lot. And if you read this letter today, it's incredible because he treats you like a human, like a person. He explains in plain language why the $70 price cut had to happen in order for the 3DS to succeed. And that was just an incredible openness. And I think we saw that a lot in how Iwata wasn't willing to do short-term firings for short-term gains and was willing to cut his salary for 5 months in half. Again, it is bizarre to see any human being who goes through those things, who goes through those investor meetings and carries this weight on his shoulders and not come out of that bitter. That is impossible, and yet he still managed to be Iwata. Most of all, though, personally, why I think this death hurts is 2 things. Just the way Iwata was willing to talk to us. He cared for his employees, obviously, but he also cared for his consumers. I've talked a lot about Iwata Asks on this show and a lot about Nintendo Directs more than ever. Iwata Asks, what are those? These are a series of lengthy interviews between, again, the president of Nintendo and people who are designing games. This has always impacted me. It's always been crazy to me that this person, Iwata, would take time out of his incredibly busy schedule just to sit down and talk to. They're lengthy interviews. He'll talk to these game designers, and he cares about these games, and he cares about what these designers have to say. They're incredible to read. They're very insightful. Just if you've never read one before, just Google Iwata Asks. They're all there. They're very accessible. Worth checking out. More than anything, though, it's the Nintendo Directs to me that have solidified who Iwata is to me. It's easy to forget, actually, that in the US, Reggie Fils-Aimé hosted the first year and then some of Iwata Asks. And it wasn't until, there was one before E3 of 2012, but it wasn't until 2013, the best Nintendo Direct of all time, the Panic Mode Wii U Nintendo Direct, that Iwata took them over in the US as well. And you know how much I appreciate a games reveal with respect. And you know how much I appreciate communicating, making sure that your messages are communicated well. Here, Iwata performed those things masterfully, just in total control of his tone. And yeah, set a unique vibe through these videos. It's very hard to be unique on the internet, and somehow through Nintendo Directs gave Nintendo a vibe unique to Nintendo, evidently unique to Iwata. You think of, directly to you, his hand gesture. You think of that body language. I know he made fun of himself a lot for it and everything, but I think that is incredibly powerful body language because, again, this is the president and CEO of a corporation, not talking down to you from a mountain, but talking straight to you. These always felt special to be a part of, special to be in that audience. And so I think that's why it definitely, this feels sad. It feels sad happening at this time. Basically, Nintendo did not have a great E3 this year. They've had plenty better, but they've also had plenty worse, way, way worse E3s. But the thoughts of Iwata at home in Japan, clearly not feeling that well, anxiously watching from afar and seeing our reactions to Nintendo's E3, seeing our tweets and our comments and our whatever it is that I do, and then responding by saying, "Thank you for watching. We take opinions of this year's digital event seriously and will work to better meet your expectations." That just tears me to shreds. That tears me straight to shreds. But honestly, again, it's not worth getting sad about. That's just showing this person who never became bitter. This person, through all those things, just never became a bitter person somehow. That is a feat. That is a feat greater than figuring out how to make the Pokemon fighting system work on the Nintendo 64. What a guy, what a president, what a programmer, what a person, what a human being. That definitely impacted. And you know how it goes. When a person dies who you respect, the best you can do is just take that impact, however great or small, and just move forward with it, and just make that a part of you going forward. And that's the episode for this week. We're going to close out this show with a clip from, a meaningful clip to me, inspiring clip personally, from Iwata's first English Nintendo Direct. This was right before E3 2012. I'll be back here next Wednesday, and I will be back to silly and irreverent, and be back to work. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.
I am here inside Nintendo headquarters in Kyoto, in a 7th floor conference room, which, as you can see, is rather plainly furnished. But there is something here which is quite significant. These are the Japanese character for Dokuso. This is a term which has guided Nintendo since the early days of the company, when Mr. Hiroshi Yamauchi was president. In English, it means creating something unique. I believe when you hear from Nintendo this week, there may be several times when you say to yourself, well, that certainly is unique. And hopefully, you will be thinking of unique in a good way.